It's good. I want to return my rental books today. So
Oh, for real?
yeah, I'm fucking so glad that they're not as bad as UNO is with.
UNO's a ripoff.
Yeah, man.
Dude,
Dude, I turned them in 2 days late, and they were just like, "Mm."
dude, I remember with UNO, like I tried to return this book that was a rental and I didn't use it. It literally sat on a
Mhm.
shelf. Like it went from the bookstore to my car, from my car to a shelf and
Mhm.
sat there for 6 months or whatever.
Yeah,
Didn't use it once and they tried to tell me that there was water damage on
dude.
it.
I think this semester I'm not gonna buy any of my textbooks except like my accounting one. I'm gonna have to use because I think I'm gonna have to actually like write in it or
Dude,
something, and that's it.
textbooks are a fucking racket.
Yeah, dude, I fucking didn't use a single one that I got. If they were gonna tell me like, oh, they're in bad condition, I'm like, bro, they still got dust on them from sitting on my fucking shelf all semester. Like,
And this is Bread and Circuses, everybody.
yeah, hell
I
yeah,
think
man.
I think it depends who you get.
I
Like,
don't know, cause didn't when that happened, didn't you just bring it over to somebody else and they
yeah,
just
no,
accepted it?
it depends who you get. Because I had someone that was like super anal, and they're like, "This has water damage," and they like got the manager over, whose whole job is to make them as much money as possible. And
Mm.
he comes over and he comes over and he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "We're not going to be able to take this because there's water damage." I'm like, "Dude, this sat in my fucking car, or excuse me, on my fucking shelf for the entire semester. I didn't use it once.
Yeah.
So you sold me a book that had water damage on it, you
Mm-hmm.
know?" And he's like, "Well, we can't take it." So I went in like a couple days later, ready to raise hell and just rip this dude a new fucking asshole. And I just was like, you know what? Let me just give it a whirl. So I walked up to the girl. I was like, "Hey, I just need to return this." And she goes, "Oh, okay." Took it, skims through it, just puts it away.
Dude,
Like,
the lady didn't even skim through mine, dude. She must have noticed how dusty they were and just
yeah,
put them back. Like she's
yeah,
just like, okay, here's a receipt. Like, all right, dope, man. That was awesome.
yeah. You just got to get people that don't care that much about their university job. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for real. Are you still doing classes, by
I
the
mean,
way?
so I'll go like I'm off until the end of the year. I haven't gone since like summer. I
Yeah,
just
there's
had
like winter
so
break right now, but
I
are you doing
had
classes like next semester or anything?
yeah,
Or
I'll go back. So for those of you that don't know, I'm in and out of online school frequently. I'll go back next semester. We just had so much going on with the promotion and everything. I just wanted to be able to focus on that with comedy and chaos and stuff.
mm-hmm.
But I'll be going. I was taking like one class online for a while, during the lockdowns and everything like that, one or two classes, just making sure my mind was sharp. Because like, what the fuck else do I have to do?
It seems like your work has paid off, man. You guys have kind of cemented yourselves as the comedy and chaos is like one of the comedy things like to go to in Omaha,
Oh
man.
yeah,
Like,
we're taking pride in it that we're the only ones doing shows right now in Omaha,
mm.
really consistently, and it's like I
Lavetti told well, I commended Lavetti for taking part in it, and then he was like, yeah, it's like he was like, yeah, it's kind of some people aren't liking that we're doing shows right now. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like,
dude, here's
just you guys just don't do shows. Like, don't be
yeah.
fucking hating on people for
I
doing
mean,
it.
here's my thing: is we have paid advertisements. It's in all the things to do groups and stuff like that. We're the only
Yeah,
ones sharing shit. We have even if people don't come to like, and it's definitely dropped off since post pandemic or during the pandemic. But we're still getting people out. We're still like turning a profit on nights, and except the fight night. But other than that, we've made money on everything
it
we've done.
happens. It's a funny story for
Yeah,
later.
we've made money on everything we've done during the whole pandemic. Not as much as we'd like to, obviously, but like we're the only ones doing shows, and I feel like yes, that will lose us some people because they're like, oh, they were doing shows during a pandemic when they see our things, but we don't want those people at our shows anyway. Those are
Yeah.
probably sensitive people that are gonna throw a fit and scream at the comedians when they say things that hurt their feelings. So like I don't want them.
I think it really has it's kind of let you guys be just way more notoriety than the comedy scene because which is cool. It's awesome that you guys have been able to do that, man. Like I'm super like happy for you guys that that's just a thing that you guys can just get any of the best comedians in Omaha to come do shows with you guys now if you want. So
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty happy about it too. It's like we can It's like we're the only ones doing shows right now, and I'm
Yeah.
hoping people will remember that. It's like, hey, like we were doing shows and we were paying you guys for these shows in the pandemic, even if it meant we took a fucking loss. So it's like, I hope it just all comes back around. And
That's hustling, man, for
you know,
sure.
when the comedy and chaos name is buy things in the future, they'll put. Yeah, I saw people giving shit to Lavetti about that.
Yeah, I was just like, he messaged me I think last week, and he was asking me about if I was like gonna come out to a show or something, and I was like, no man, I live in Texas now. And he's like, oh, for real, what the fuck? I was like, yeah man, I know, that's like the only thing I miss about living up in Omaha is just doing the comedy with all those guys, because they're all really good guys, they're all really good people. So
yeah, no, for sure,
it, man. But yeah.
I mean, you got adult shit down there.
Yeah, and I mean, it just sucks that, like, dude, you go down 3 states and how they're handling the pandemic is like 1,000 times different than like in a different state. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's just fucking weird. Like, there isn't shit going on over here, and it's boring as fuck. Like,
yeah, and you have, well, dude, and like even that though, it's not as bad as like California and New York, where these governors have like declared themselves God.
Dude,
it's
you
like,
go 10 minutes north up into New Mexico, and it's basically like that. Like,
yeah,
our family up there had to come down here for Thanksgiving because
yeah,
they legit would have like had police come and go down to their houses if they saw a lot of cars there.
I wonder, like, here's my thing is like, if cops came knocking on my door on Thanksgiving because I had too many people, I just wouldn't answer the door. Like, what are they going to swat?
I don't know who all
really?
these cars are.
Like, I wouldn't even answer it. Like, what are they going to do? Are they going to SWAT team my door because they think I have 12 people at my house?
I wonder if they'd do it like a parking ticket or something. Like, they'd leave a ticket on the door or something, and then maybe I don't know. I've never talked to anybody that's like actually had that happen to them. So
yeah, I mean, it's like it seems like it's all a big bluff because I don't see these cops like kicking your door in. That's a terrible optic, you know what I mean?
Well, shit, up in New York, they fucking staked out and arrested that one bar owner. Remember? I guess New York is pretty draconian with how they're handling it, dude, compared to the more reasonable part of the country.
Cuomo's a fucking maniac.
Yeah,
like the way he's handled it, and the fact that he wrote a book talking about how great he handled it is kind of funny. Like, it's like someone said it's like Bush writing a book about Katrina, and it's like
great leadership under under terrible storms, the Hurricane Katrina story.
Yeah, and is that from South Park?
I don't think so, but it sounds like something.
You just make it up.
Yeah, that sounds like something from South Park, doesn't
great
it?
Leadership under terrible storms. That's
the new George Bush book.
I mean, like, seriously though, and it's like, did you see what he did the other day?
It just details how he played RuneScape for 3 months and didn't fucking pay attention to
it. Yeah, Cuomo yesterday signed a bill that banned the sale of the Confederate flag in New York.
Nice, man.
I'm like, okay, I'm not like, I think the Confederate flag's retarded. But like, I also don't think someone should go to jail for selling it. I mean,
yeah, for real.
It's like
put it on the same level as crystal meth, dude.
Right? Yeah. the First Amendment is not real, right? Like, that's essentially what we're saying. I mean, he's gonna get sued for that. It's like he's just drunk on power.
That shit reminds me kind of like of Germany, how they banned all the Nazi paraphernalia stuff.
So,
which, I'm sorry.
I can see the argument for Germany more than I could for the United States because they don't have a
First Amendment. It was that the Americans were the one that made the rule for it when they were occupying West Germany. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize. I was like, it was probably like an anti propaganda thing.
Yeah, they probably just didn't want all the fucking Nazi sympathizers to rise up, gang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that's where that dated back to. Well, no, it's like it's there. The First Amendment's there to protect the speech you don't want to hear. That's what it's there. It's not to talk about the fucking weather, right? So it's like, you can't do things that will directly endanger somebody. So you can't walk into a crowded room and yell fire, right? Because somebody could get trampled, could directly endanger it. You can't say go shoot that guy or I'm gonna kill. You can't make direct threats but a symbol is not a threat. It's not an immediate.
And even then too, like if you got fucking arrested for that, it'd be pretty hard to prove that in court
for the yelling fire. Oh
yeah. It's like nobody's really gonna probably get arrested.
No, that'd get tossed out.
Yeah.
I mean, because even that is kind of a slippery slope in my opinion, because like you could hold like Walmart liable if somebody gets run over at Black Friday. You know what I mean? It's like, well, they shouldn't have announced that big sale. It caused pandemonium. Where does it stop? But I think the Confederate flag thing, you had a bunch of people screaming about how the president was a Nazi dictator and now he's gone. But they how quickly they forget that power changes hands. So yeah, today it's the Confederate flag they're banning. Tomorrow it's the transgender flag when it's somebody you don't want. When it's somebody you don't want in power. So it's like you always have to, whenever you pass a law, you have to think, how could this be turned around and used against me 10 years from now? Because power changes hands in this country.
Honestly, too, it's like, yeah, the Confederate flag is stupid, but it's useful because it like helps you find people that you don't want to associate with.
That's exactly it. And that's my thing with like with the Christian bakers that like won't bake for gay people and stuff. It's like I would rather these people out themselves so I don't have to give them my money. So I know who not to give my money to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that.
I've heard like people talk about those issues and they're like with the Christian baker thing being like, oh, what would it be different if it was they were refusing to cook for like black people or someone who they were black or somebody because they were Asian right now, right? Because apparently all the Asian people have been getting discriminated against. I would only retort that like, man, I think you really only need like government regulation on stuff like that if it's a problem. So in this case with the Confederate flag, right, is it really a problem? Are there a lot of Confederate flags flying around in New York City, dude? I went to New York City for a fucking week. I tell you, I didn't see a single Confederate flag, and I toured that entire city, bro. Like, I think I only didn't go to Brooklyn because it was a little too ghetto for me.
Yeah,
and I had no reason to go there.
You're a privileged male.
Dude, like, how you get those fucking really artsy people, quote unquote, that are all like they celebrate fucking graffiti as like it's like this urban art.
They celebrate people that live in poverty that want nothing more than to get out of it.
Well, I don't know, man. I've seen people that like celebrate graffiti art as like a legitimate art form, you know what I mean? Let me tell you, all the graffiti I saw up in Brooklyn looked like shit, dude.
It's terrible.
Those graffiti artists are fucking horrible. And there was also graffiti in places that you're like, how the fuck did you graffiti that up there?
There's so much. Yeah, it is. You see it on top of like a water tower, and it's like, what type of dedication did you have to do that?
You see it in the middle of like a brick wall that's like fucking 200 feet high. Like, did you like fucking rappel down that wall?
Dude, like stole a fire truck and got on the cherry picker for it, like that kind of stupid shit. Like how did you pull that shit off, man? You see it, because like all the graffiti I've ever seen, like I've seen like professional graffiti artists that don't just go tag random walls, like they'll do it in their basement or whatever.
They don't just go write like Limp Bizkit on a fucking train sign, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But no, like people will hire legitimate graffiti artists, and it does look good. For like
I think there's a difference between making like graffiti, like tagging something. There's a difference between making a fucking mural.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? Like graffiti ain't murals, man. Like people are out there making murals and they actually make it like represent something. You look at it and you're like, huh, that looks cool, man. I mean, even like bad murals are better than the best fucking graffiti of some guy writing big toe on a fucking wall.
That's my thing, dude. It's like, I understand the whole art is subjective, but there is nothing artistic about going and spray painting the word cunt on the side of a Sam's Club. You know what I mean?
I honestly, like 9 times out of 10, I don't even know what they say, man. Like I don't know if that's like my whiteness showing or something, but
no, it's mostly white people that do it, I'm pretty sure.
Really? I don't know.
It's a fairly white pastime from what I understand.
Really? Wow, yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's mainly, I mean, it's not to say that it doesn't happen and there's not cultural significance elsewhere, but it's a predominantly like white skateboard culture type thing.
Wow, I didn't know that. I guess to compare that to like going to LA, man, in LA there's murals
Yeah.
that people just paint on walls like everywhere, and they look fucking nice, man. Even like the bad ones, you're like, oh yeah, I can see what they were trying to do there, and it's still cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, you go up to Brooklyn, man, and you're just like, like
In Omaha, we just make murals of violent criminals here.
what's that?
That was the Skurlock guy that got shot by the owner of the
Did they
hive.
make a Skurlock fucking
Dude, they made a mural, and it's like, dude, like
of the guy that shot the guy, or the guy that
got shot. Jake Gardner was the guy that shot him. It's like,
Yeah.
dude, here's my thing. Bad things can happen to bad people, right? I'm not saying that what happened to Skurlock was the right thing, but we don't need a mural of a guy who just got out of jail for beating the shit out of his kid's mom and robbing a liquor store. I don't want that in my city. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm never really a big fan of doing like if a personal attack on somebody if it's not really relevant to like, so like that guy, yeah, that, I mean, he was like that, but I mean, I didn't really have anything to do with how he died, you know.
No,
what I mean?
it
unless the guy's a
doesn't,
fucking, unless the guy's a pedophile or a furry.
well,
those
it doesn't,
are the
but
only two.
we can mourn his death without, you know, blasting his face all over the city. And I just don't think that it's right to put a, I mean, if it was, you know, like,
is it all over the city, or is it just like on one
there's a
block
few
of some-
pictures of him up elsewhere, like in Benson and stuff. And it's like, we can, even if it's just in one place, you know, we can mourn a guy's death and say, you know, that guy shouldn't have died that way, without having to put pictures of a domestic abuser up all over the place. You know, it's like, it's the equivalent of putting, maybe not quite Aaron Hernandez, but you know what I mean. Like, I guess that's
putting a fucking mural of Aaron Hernandez up on a wall would be pretty fucking funny, dude.
I mean, that would
be honest.
You put it like right outside
that would be
the
pretty
Patriots
fucking
stadium.
That'd be pretty fucking funny, dude.
Could you
like
imagine?
The greatest tight end in Patriots history. That's what it says on it.
Oh God. Oh
yeah,
God.
that'd be pretty fucking funny, man.
Aaron Hernandez. Something new comes out about that guy every day, it seems like.
Did something new come out about him?
No,
like,
not recently.
Did he have another gay lover? Like,
no, I just love how they're like blaming the like gay thing on why he killed people. They're like, he had these repressed emotions. Of like, no, he got hit in the head way too many times. Like,
yeah, he had like a lot of TBIs.
Yeah,
and it made him a little wacky.
CTE and stuff like that. Like,
isn't some people think that the CTE might have made him like a little bisexual? Like,
no, he had that since high school. He was always.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
Dudes. But he's not gay as far, dude. If you can get it up for a woman, you're not gay because he had kids, right? You're bi, right? He's not, you know.
He nutted in a dude, yeah.
Right. He nutted in a dude, and
it's 2020, dude. Being bisexual, nobody gives a fuck about that.
Well, I have my theory on that is I think everyone is somewhere between the two extremes of gay and straight. No one's totally gay and no one's totally straight. And hear me out on this. I'm attracted to women, right? There are some men I can look at and say, that's an attractive man. I'd never fuck him. I'd never date him. I'd never kiss him.
Yeah.
But I can look at him and say, that's a good looking man. If you were 100% on the straight side of the spectrum, you would, oh, he's repulsive. That's a man. Are you kidding? Like those guys that like try
You'd
to
have no opinion. Yeah, I get you. I say that to a lot of people too. I'm like, dude, you can like acknowledge that like somebody's a good looking guy and not want to, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
And not want to suck his dick. Like,
no, that's exactly
just the fact of you having an opinion on like a guy being good looking or not is, you know, you're having an opinion, you're having actual thoughts about it. So it's like,
everyone's somewhere in between the two extremes, you know.
I think it's just a matter of how fucking confident you are, man. If you're like confident enough to just be like, dude, like I'm not gay, but he's a good fucking you know, like
Jake Gyllenhaal's a good looking guy.
Jake Gyllenhaal's a fucking hunksicle, dude.
Yeah, he's a beautiful man, right?
We used to have that conversation in the army all the time. To be like, all right, man, you gotta fuck one dude. Who's it gonna be?
Probably Jake Gyllenhaal. Probably.
Yeah, exactly. And you just have that conversation casually. You know what I mean? It's the funniest thing where the people that are like, oh no, I can't answer that. I'm like,
those are the guys that are like actually kind of into dudes.
Those are the guys that are like fucking watching tranny porn, dude.
Yeah, that's. Do you remember when Alex Jones had that video on his phone up on InfoWars and he like was pulling something up and there was like tranny porn pulled up in one of the tabs?
Dude, I remember that. if that's not like the best troll ever, dude, like there's no way. I mean, I don't know. Like it's Alex Jones, so
maybe he's into it.
maybe. I mean,
To
like
each their own, right? Like,
well, so maybe, but like, dude, if if Alex Jones is gonna have like one goofy ass thing on his phone like that, like a little Easter egg like
yeah,
that, like what else could it be, man?
right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Well, did you see he's getting investigated now by the
for
Secret
what?
Service?
For oh no, for what?
He
I
was
didn't
at
see it.
that Stop the Steal rally, and he's
Yeah.
like, "We're gonna remove Joe Biden from office one way or the other."
Oh my god, man.
He always gets away though. He always gets off in the end. Sometimes from just avoiding it.
He's got money to pay for lawyers, so
Yeah.
yeah, he's not gonna get anything to him. They're just the court system is gonna get a bunch of money off of him, and that's it.
Yeah, they'll give him a slap. Well, he's still getting sued over that Sandy Hook thing.
Yeah, I know, right?
I,
Which one thing with Alex Jones, like the dude is like those kind of guys that are fucking acting like that and doing that whole like stop the steal thing. Those guys are just as bad as those people
the
back
Russian
in
voter
2016.
fraud.
Yeah, in the 2016, like that kid on the camera that was like, no, on the camera. You know what I mean? Like, and the fucking protests with the little cat hat on. Like,
dude, the Republicans have shot themselves in the foot so bad these last couple months here. Like, it's like, because if you look at it, they didn't have a bad election. You ran probably the most unpopular candidate that you've ever nominated
in recent history.
Barely lost. Yeah, and you barely lost.
And it's indicative because they won all the fucking Senate and Congress spots.
You didn't lose a single seat in the House. In fact, you gained like 9 or 10.
Yeah.
You have a chance to still keep the Senate, which you're trying to undo right now with the problem is they've latched themselves so hard onto Trump that they're screwing themselves in future elections. They've got this cult of personality complex where we're live or die for Trump, and they don't realize, I'm like, dude, you can keep the Senate and probably win the House in 2 years if you just take your L and move on. But they've latched themselves onto Trump, and they're setting themselves back for probably another presidential election because of it. They're talking about is fraud and theft, and it's such a cult of personality that
we'll just have to see, man. It's like, I mean, for all we know, Biden is gonna do good.
Yeah,
and it'll be a good check. You know, I think you're the one that is quoted saying it, where it's like that most ideal situation is where like the House is controlled by Democrats and where it's like reverse, because then nothing happens. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Well, that might not happen now because you got those 2 Senate seats in Georgia, and all they're doing, the Georgia Republican Party, instead of going out and campaigning for their people, are going out talking about how Trump got it stolen from him. And it's like, dude, you guys got to move on. I understand you feel like you got cheated, whether you did or not. It doesn't really matter because it's probably over.
Run a better candidate. That's all you got to do, man. Just run a fucking better candidate.
And that's my thing, is it's like, you've got 2 Senate seats that literally balance the fate of the country. If you lose one of them, or if you lose both of them, the Democrats are going to be able to do whatever they want for 2 years, including pack the Senate or pack the Supreme Court. So,
are there any Supreme Court justices that are like about to fucking kick it or something? Or
I think there's probably.
I don't think so. Everyone was calling RBG was gonna die. Like,
yeah.
The only reason I'm pretty convinced that the only reason that they were keeping her on life support and shit was just so she wouldn't die when Trump was in office. Like her literal like dying request was that they didn't pick her another judge until she like after Trump was like, and I was like, that's not how government works, bitch.
No, it's
like,
not. Obama did she was all for Obama nominating Merrick Garland. It's all fucking partisan bullshit. That's my thing, dude. Is it's like McConnell, they should have so they could have saved themselves when Obama nominated that justice, because you had a Republican majority in the Senate. They could have said, sure, we'll vote on it, and then all voted no. Like, look, we voted. We didn't have to confirm him. We just had to vote.
Only dumb like government political party simps are concerned about who gets fucking nominated. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
If the people that make it onto the Supreme Court, like, look, everyone was fucking worried about
They were gonna
Gorsuch
hand it
and
to Trump.
yeah, like all the ones that Trump fucking put on there, like Gorsuch and Kavanaugh, and
Mhm.
literally like every single thing that Trump tried, like that went in front of them with Trump, they fucking nixed it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and that people were like, "Oh, he stacked the court with Amy Coney Barrett. He's got 3 judges on there. They're gonna owe him favors. They're gonna turn around and rig the and give him the
They
election." I was
literally
like,
didn't do
dude,
a single
no,
thing to
they
help
shot it
Trump.
down. They shot
Nothing.
the recount or the election fraud thing down because they're like, there's no. That's what people don't realize. It's like, these are people that have spent their whole lives working to get to that position. They're not just these schmoes that can just be. They're not these hack congressmen that ran a real estate company for 4 years and then now they're a congressman and they can be bought for simple favors. Like these are people that these are judges and lawyers. They're
judges,
respectable
dude.
people, right?
Yeah.
Respectable
The Supreme
people.
Court judges, and like a lot of the times the stuff that comes to them isn't really like it's not the kind of stuff that they really benefit from. You know what I mean? Like deciding like if a guy goes to jail or not doesn't help some fucking pharmaceutical company that they own. You know what I mean? Like,
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I know like if out of any of the house, like the branches of our federal government, right?
Mm-hmm.
Probably, and this just goes off of that just because there's not evidence for it like everybody else, probably the least corrupt fucking branch of the federal government.
Supreme Court, for sure.
Probably, man. Like,
no, for
it's
sure.
pretty indicative of like that even when the Supreme Court was split like 50-50 between conservative, relatively 50-50 as it was like when this happened, when they made gay marriage legal federally.
Mm-hmm.
Like, dude, that's like, you know what I mean? That's like fucking perfect representation because it's like everybody was ready for it. And I don't know. That's my thing on the Supreme Court justices, man.
Well, I'm just hoping they strike down some more gun laws. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see, man. I've been seeing some pretty crazy stuff. Like California raided that one company.
Oh, no, yeah.
California, that one. There's some
ATF
like small fire.
raided the company. They were making those ghost guns.
Yeah.
80% lowers. Well, they subpoenaed, the ATF subpoenaed them and said, hand over records to all your customers. And they told the ATF to go fuck themselves and destroyed the records.
Yeah.
I think
if Hillary Clinton can get away with it, then they can too.
So I think you're going to see more of that because I think what's going to happen is you're going to see, especially because Biden will appoint the new head of the ATF, right? So you're going to see under the Biden administration, they're going to target a lot of these loopholes like the AR pistols and stuff like that.
Then they're going to target a lot of small firearms companies.
And they're
not going to go target Colt.
They're not going to target Ruger. No, they're going to target these companies that are making the 80% lowers that are like AR pistol builds, stuff like that. And you're going to see them go after these companies and there'll be a Republican administration in the future. That ATF head's going to be gone in 4-8 years, whatever. These companies that stand by their customers and say, you know what, you can raid us, but we're destroying every record of every person that bought from us and we're going to burn the hard drives. Those are the ones that'll be around. And those are the ones people are going to remember and take their money to in 4 years when this bullshit's over. So like that's
I'm hoping it's because obviously I know that's not something I really agree with. Neither of us will agree with the new president-elect with his gun policies, but what is good is that the legislative branch still being held by the Republicans should still. Well, I mean, like we've criticized Trump about his gun policies the entire time he's been in office. Like, it was literally only him that signed fucking the executive orders against like the bump stocks and when they were doing the 3D printer like plastic gun things.
Trump's been more anti-gun than Obama has.
He's been more anti-gun than any president in like the last like 100 years.
No, Clinton passed the assault weapons ban.
I was gonna say other than that, but
Reagan, I think. Was it Reagan that passed the one that banned machine guns?
I think it was in the 60s.
So let me look up NFA.
Yeah, the NFA got passed in the 60s, I think, didn't it?
Let's see.
Kennedy passed that? Lyndon B. Johnson.
It might have been John. Let me see. National Firearms Act, 1934. Okay, yeah. So
that's a hot minute ago.
Yeah, you're looking at like, let's see here. Who was president then?
1934, probably
Roosevelt.
FDR. Yeah,
Roosevelt, that
fucking FDR's
piece of
bitch
shit.
ass.
Piece of shit. Thank God for polio. That's all I'll
Yeah.
say. Fucking FDR. Now I'm on another watch list. I go to
Fuck
buy
it,
a
man.
gun and they're like, "Sir, can you step in over here real quick? You've been banned from purchasing guns. We got to run some extra background checks on you."
FDR is pissed, man, because hell isn't handicap accessible.
He's riding around in his wheelchair in the fucking flames.
You can't get up the steps into the post office there, man. They're like, well, where's your ramp? They're like, what ramp, bitch?
That's FDR's hell, is just being in hell without ramps. No, FDR's hell is they just stuck him in an internment camp.
Yeah, he's in an internment camp. Dude, I literally I remember telling you about my one philosophy teacher in my college class was like a bleeding heart fucking hippie dude, right?
Vegan? Yeah.
Yeah, the vegan guy. I literally brought up because he quoted, I don't even remember why, but no, this was my history class, excuse me. My one racism in the United States history since the Civil War class that I took.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking he during for our like unit that we did of like the 1940s, like of course the only thing we talked about was the internment camps.
Sure.
Which is good, I guess. Not a lot of people realize that, at least probably down here.
Well, my favorite thing is like watching like liberals turn into hardcore fascist conservatives defending FDR for that.
Well, like here's the thing: was he posted some comment about or some quote from fucking Leonard Nimoy, or not Leonard Nimoy, from fucking George Takei, right?
Mm-hmm.
About like him saying some shit about like
the Star Trek guy.
Up. Yeah, because George Takei was like in an internment camp in the 40s,
right?
right? Yeah, he was Japanese, and he was really like, he was quoted, they put him quoting like about how like talking about like a TED talk about how he was talking about like the president was like the worst ever. Yeah, and I'm just like, I quoted in like a response thing to that, like, dude, this guy was literally put in an internment camp by FDR. You're really gonna tell me that
right?
Like, he thinks that Trump is the worst president ever when he was literally put in a fucking internment camp.
George Takei is a partisan hack, though. That's exactly what a lot of people. I mean, George Takei is a hard lot. Like I mean, the dude drinks the Kool-Aid. You know what I mean? You know who I'm a super big fan of that you guys should check out? Like, I mean, you and our listeners. If you want people that are like truly nonpartisan and critical of everyone, there's a comedian. Her name's Bridget Fetisi. You can follow her on Twitter. Have you heard of her?
But that sounds good.
She's got a podcast. It's on YouTube. She's super down the line, critical of everyone. She's not like these George Takei and who's a Candace Owens type grifters. You know what I mean? And that's what it is. It's a grift.
I think there's room for people like that. Just like, you know what I mean? Like sometimes they'll say some stuff. Yeah, it's just like sometimes like those people like have valid points and you shouldn't just immediately dismiss them, but like let people like that be free to speak what they have to say.
No, yeah, absolutely.
So you can make them act like fools of themselves. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Like, did you see she was on Tim Dillon's show?
Candace Owens?
Yeah.
No, but she was also on Tim Pool's show and I watched that. I watched Tim Pool, although Tim Pool's kind of gone a little bit off the right wing fucking
dude. It's a grift, the MAGA
train.
grift. There's more money in it. Candace Owens, Tim Dillon was like, he's like, somebody came to me the other day and they said, you know who Tim Dillon is, right? He's a comedian.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's like, someone came to me the other day. They
big
said,
fat gay guy.
Yeah. He's like, Tim, you have never used your platform as a white male to put or to elevate a woman of color on your show. And you're right. I've never had a woman of color on my show. So, ladies and gentlemen, Candace Owens.
One thing, like, yeah, Candace Owens, like, obviously, Candace Owens says some dumb shit, right? Not everything she says is fucking bad.
But it's the dumb shit that makes the highlights.
It is. Like, I've watched like some things that like, Candace Owens says. Some of the stuff she says, she brings like valid points about fucking welfare, like the welfare state creating like a father issue in like the black community. Is like, there's some stuff that she says that is worth checking out and worth talking about and everything. But
no, for sure,
it sucks when it's like with somebody that's actually intelligent, like they take like they have like two dumb opinions. It'd be
Mhm.
like with Ben Shapiro, man. Like, right, Ben Shapiro is actually pretty smart and got a
Left
lot
wing
of
destroyed.
and then it's like if you took like everything he said, but only focused on him being a dumbass about the WAP thing.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Well, I mean that's what. So I with people like Candace Owens, I Shapiro I think is just a like an intellectual type guy, but Candace Owens I really do think she's a grifter. I think she may be like an actual conservative, but I think she says hyperbolic things like that
I think
to
she's a
get
conservative that
attention.
when
Remember
you
when we
watch her
talked to
talk.
Arvin Vora? I think it's kind of like that.
Well, I think Candace Owens it's tough when she goes on to stuff like mainstream media type stuff and gets like a minute to talk. But then
Yeah.
I mean, like if she talks in long form stuff and is able to talk about her opinions, you're able to kind of seed through it and be like, okay, yeah, this stuff that she's saying is dumb, but this stuff, like, you know what I mean? Like, not everybody has the best opinion about everything.
Sure,
You
sure.
know what I mean? Like,
But on the long form thing, I do think that that Rogan interview is really what was the beginning of the end for her. As far because did you listen to that?
I did, and it showed that she's not like it's exactly what I said. Like, not everybody has great opinions on everything, so it's like she was able to kind of stand up and have like smart things to say about two or three things, but you can't have fucking 4 million people watch you and only be well informed about four things. You know what I mean? Like, you can't do that. The cracks are going to show, which they did. So.
When they got on that climate change thing, she just sounded dumb. And you could make the argument. And he even tried to like let her in. Like, he's like, look, like, it's not an argument about, he's like that. Now there's an argument whether it's man-made or not. There's just not an argument whether or not it's real. It's real. Yeah. And she wouldn't eat, like, she dug her heels in on that. Like, dude, it showed
that it's like some shit that just people do. Like, if they're not informed on something, they'll still have opinions about it.
They dig their heels in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's the MAGA grift. And it's going to be interesting to see how these people make money when it's over. You know,
I think if anything, I don't think it's going to go away because I mean, you're going to have the people that are totally against everything that this it's going to be like the horseshoe theory. It's going to be the reverse of everything that the left-wing people are doing with Trump, where there's going to be this echo chamber group of people that just, and no matter what, Biden cannot do anything good. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to fucking hyper focus on every fucking little thing bad that he did or something, or like the fact that he wore his fucking one shoe like this, and you know what I mean, like that's going to exist still on it because it existed under Obama a lot. I think his presidency is going to be really similar to Obama. You know what I mean? Like, is that so done?
Like one landmark bill and that's it.
I think like culturally that's what it's going to feel like. You know what I mean? Like,
I think we could
similar to that.
We could all use some boring. I'm hoping it.
I think so too.
But
at least in politics, man.
The problem is it's boy who cried wolf, because I mean, and the Republicans are guilty of this too, but I feel like the Democrats are more guilty of this. They paint every Republican as a Nazi, Mitt Romney, John McCain, George Bush, the people they're now pointing to, and they're like, why can't Republicans be reasonable? Like, you guys were calling these guys monsters. John McCain and George Bush are fucking war criminals. They had done way worse things than Donald Trump had before he got into office. And eventually people were like, okay, it's boy who cried wolf. We don't care anymore. You guys were saying Mitt Romney was the devil. Mitt Romney's the most milquetoast, run-of-the-mill, basic bitch conservative out there. And you guys called him Hitler. And it doesn't matter who the Republicans run in 2024, because they'll paint them as just as bad as Trump, because that's how biased we are. So
that's fool politics there for you. Yeah.
And it tricks a lot of their base.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, dude, I
don't know. We'll have to see, man, because I think if there's one thing, and I think I've said this before, there's one good thing that this Trump administration has done. It's got people to start paying attention to politics that don't normally pay attention to politics.
Is that good?
I think it's good because there's so much information is so much easier to get than it was even on like fucking Bush's days, dude. Like, even in 2008 when Obama was running, man, like, dude, how they have freedom, like the availability of information versus fucking 12 years ago.
I think it's helped third parties a lot too.
Yeah, it has, man.
It's helped other options.
You can't ever claim ignorance because of lack of availability of information. It's all fucking out there, dude. Like,
and I Well, at least Saturday Night Live writers will have to leave their comfort zone and write about something other than Trump.
You know, you would watch things about SNL and stuff. There was some of the writing in there that was pretty self-aware of all that.
Some of it was, yeah.
And that was like,
I think a lot of these people, for as much as they hate Trump, I can't, like, I've seen people in audience at comedy shows talk about Trump. Like, you guys hate him, but he has to be in everything you consume. The guy, like, as much as you hate this guy, he occupies space in your mind rent free.
That's the one thing I'm going to be looking forward to after he's out of office, man, is like I can stop fucking just hearing about the fact that he shit his pants on fucking national TV for the 4th time this month. You know what I mean? Like,
half the comedy scene in this city just lost their material.
So, there was only one funny Trump joke I heard somebody tell one time, and it was like that it would be funny if there was an attempted assassination.
Oh, the incredible attempt on my life, Alex Preston.
I mean, I even told Alex too. I was like, man, the funny part of that isn't the Trump impersonation; it's just the idea that it'd be funny if he like survived an assassination attempt. Like, that's pretty funny, dude. Like,
for sure. And but like it's they do, like, dude, there's people that have Trump's notifications on every time he tweets and they reply to it within seconds. That's mental illness. That's someone who's mentally ill that does that. You have nothing else going on. You sit there at your phone. The second it dings, you drop everything. You're mid-conversation, you're at work, whatever, and you pick that up and reply to him. That's a mental illness.
Maybe we'll stop having Twitter make like national news every day.
God, I hope so. I think,
all right. I think it's 10 o'clock your time, 9 o'clock my time. So I got to go get my baby bathed and put to bed. So.
All right. I got to go do nothing. I'll probably get another glass of cranberry juice.
Like cran vodka or something?
No, I'm not drinking right now.
Nice.
I just got cranberry juice. Anyways, all right, let's get going. Appreciate it as always, bro. Bread Circuses. Follow us on all the shit. You know it. Peace out. I'm finally on TikTok at Caleb Salvatore Comedy. I caved. Follow me there. Peace out, y'all.